You ever open your inbox and feel your stomach drop before you even click the message? That was me. 9:02 a.m. on a Tuesday, caffeine barely kicked in, heart already sprinting. The subject line read, "Clarification on responsibilities." You know what that means. Nothing good ever follows the word clarification. It wasn't from my boss. It wasn't even from someone above me. It was from a coworker, one of those self-appointed project leads who thrive on CCing management. And there it was, a carefully worded, professionally venomous email, looping in everyone from my manager to someone in HR who shouldn't even be part of this thread. At first glance, it was about roles and communication breakdowns. But beneath the corporate politeness, it was a surgical strike. Every sentence a subtle accusation, every CC an audience. I scrolled once, twice, 3 times, just to be sure I wasn't imagining it. Nope. It was all there. And the worst part? The final line. Moving forward, I'll take ownership of these tasks to ensure consistency. That's how they do it, not a confrontation, not a conversation. A quiet takeover disguised as teamwork. I could feel the adrenaline hit, that shaky, can't breathe kind of awareness that your professional reputation just took a hit in front of the people who sign your paychecks. And I'll be honest, part of me wanted to fire back. To reply all and rip through the fake professionalism with the truth. But then I stopped. Because that's the trap. The emotional reaction is the evidence they're fishing for. So I did what I've learned to do. I closed the email, took a walk, and asked myself the question I ask every time something like this happens. What energy am I about to feed? Because in offices like this, energy is currency. And once you learn that, you stop giving it away for free. I walked down the hallway, pretending to refill my coffee just to steady my breathing. My hands were trembling, not because of fear, but because of restraint. There's something about being accused quietly that burns louder than being yelled at. The silent assassins of corporate life, the ones who never raise their voice, but manage to ruin your reputation one friendly email at a time. And this one had history. 3 weeks before that email, she'd been called out, gently, for missing a client deadline. Guess who had to fix it? Me. Guess who looked bad for it? Also me. That's the thing about accountability. Some people would rather rewrite the story than take responsibility. And emails? They're the perfect weapon for that. They're permanent, public, and polite, the holy trinity of professional sabotage. By the time I sat back at my desk, my pulse had finally leveled out. That's when it hit me, I wasn't reacting to her email. I was reacting to old versions of me, the one who used to over-explain, to beg people to see my intentions, to fight to be understood. Not anymore. I waited 2 hours before responding. 2 hours of silence can be deafening when someone expects chaos. When I finally replied, I kept it surgical. Short. Calm. Documented. Thanks for the clarification. I'll continue handling my assigned responsibilities per our last directive. Let's discuss alignment at our next check-in. That's it. No defense. No emotion. No hint of the chaos they hope to create. And just like that, the power shifted back. See, what people forget is that documentation cuts both ways. If they want everything in writing, make sure your calm is, too. Because while they're collecting emails for evidence, you're building a record of restraint, and leaders notice that. A week later, during a leadership sync, her name came up. Turns out, she'd been doing this to other people too. Flagging, CCing, escalating. Management had started noticing the pattern, the common denominator. The thread that was meant to corner me? It became her undoing. All because I refused to feed it with emotion. That's what office karma really is, the moment truth circles back to the sender. Not when you demand it, not when you fight for it, but when you stay still long enough to let it expose itself. So now, every time I see that little red bubble on my inbox, I take a breath before I click. Because sometimes what's waiting there isn't a problem, it's proof of growth. And this one? Taught me that not every attack deserves your energy. Some just deserve your silence. Because in the end, you don't have to get even, you just have to get aligned. And alignment? That's where real power lives.